The ship shook like a wild animal trying to break free. Maya Chun held tight to her seat as sparks flew from the control panels around her. The lights went out and came back on 3 times before staying off for good. Only the red emergency lights kept glowing in the dark. "We're going down," shouted Captain Brooks from the front of the ship. "Everyone hold on." Maya felt her stomach drop as the ship fell through the sky of the unknown planet. She was a scientist who studied alien life forms. She had been so excited to explore this new world. Now she just wanted to live through the crash. The ship hit the ground hard. Maya's head slammed forward and everything went black. When she woke up, her ears were ringing and her head hurt badly. Smoke filled the air and made her cough. She could smell burning metal and something else that made her sick. Maya tried to stand, but fell back down. Her left arm was hurt, and blood ran down her face. "Hello?" she called out. "Is anyone there?" She heard a weak voice answer from somewhere in the broken ship. "Here, ... I'm here." Maya crawled toward the voice, moving past broken pieces of metal and glass. She found Lieutenant Jake Morrison, trapped under a heavy beam. His legs were crushed, and blood covered his uniform. "Jake, can you move?" Maya asked as she tried to lift the beam. "I don't think so," Jake said with pain in his voice. "My legs ... I can't feel them." Maya looked around the crashed ship. The other 6 crew members were all dead. Captain Brooks had not made it. Neither had Dr. Williams or any of the others. Only she and Jake were still alive on this strange planet. Far from Earth, the ship had broken into 3 big pieces. Most of their supplies were scattered everywhere or destroyed. Maya found the medical kit and some food that was still good. The water recycler was broken, but she found several bottles of clean water. She gave Jake medicine for his pain and tried to stop his bleeding, but she knew he was hurt too badly. Without a real hospital, he would not live long. "Where are we?" Jake asked as Maya bandaged his wounds. "The planet we were supposed to explore," Maya said. "Kepler 442c, the one that might have life on it." Maya helped Jake move to a safer part of the ship where the roof had not fallen in. Then she went outside to look around. The planet was unlike anything she had ever seen. The sky was a strange purple color and had 2 small suns that gave off blue-white light. The ground was covered with rocks that looked like giant crystals. These crystals glowed with a soft light that changed colors slowly. Some were as tall as trees. Plants grew between the crystals, but they were not like Earth plants. They looked more like living glass that bent and moved even when there was no wind. When Maya walked near them, they seemed to turn toward her like they knew she was there. The air was thin, but she could breathe it. It tasted strange, like metal mixed with flowers. Maya noticed tiny sparkles floating in the air. They looked like dust, but they moved in patterns that seemed too organized to be random. She walked back to the ship and found Jake getting worse. His breathing was shallow, and his skin was turning pale. "The communication system is broken," Maya told him. "The emergency beacon, too. I can't call for help." Jake tried to smile. "At least you made it, Maya. You're the scientist. If anyone can survive here, it's you." Maya spent the next 3 days taking care of Jake and exploring the area around the crash. She found a cave system near the ship that would make a good shelter. The caves were warm and dry, and the crystal formations inside gave off enough light to see by. On the 4th day, Jake died quietly while Maya held his hand. She buried him under a pile of the glowing crystals. Now she was completely alone on an alien world. Maya moved her supplies to the largest cave. She set up the few working machines she had saved from the ship. A small generator gave her some power. A water purifier would help her clean water from a nearby stream. She had enough food bills to last maybe 2 months if she was careful. At night, the planet became even more strange. The crystal formations glowed brighter, and the glass plants made soft musical sounds. Maya could see patterns of light moving through the crystals, like signals being sent from one to another. She started writing in her journal every day. She recorded everything she saw and learned about the planet. Maybe someday another human ship would find her records. The strangest thing was how the planet seemed to react to her presence. When she walked through the crystal fields, waves of light followed her. When she touched the glass plants, they would pulse with warm colors. It was like the whole planet was alive and watching her. Maya knew she had to find a way to survive. She had no idea if rescue would ever come. This alien world was now her home, and she had to learn its secrets if she wanted to live. She looked up at the purple sky with its 2 blue suns and made a promise to herself. She would not just survive here. She would learn everything she could about this amazing place. Maybe she would even find life forms that could help her. Maya-chan did not know that the planet had already found her. Something ancient and powerful was watching her every move, waiting for the right moment to make contact. 3 months had passed since the crash. Maya had learned to live on the strange planet. She knew which crystal formations held the cleanest water and which glass plants had fruit she could eat. Her cave home was warm and safe, filled with salvaged equipment that still worked, but Maya was lonely. She talked to herself just to hear a human voice. Sometimes she would sit by Jake's grave and tell him about her day. The silence of the planet was broken only by the soft humming sounds the crystals made at certain times. One evening, as Maya sat writing in her journal, the crystals around her cave began to glow much brighter than usual. The light pulsed in, waves that seemed to move toward her shelter. She had seen this pattern before, but never this strong. Maya stepped outside and gasped. The entire crystal field was alive with dancing lights. Blues and greens and purples swirled through the tall formations like liquid fire. The glass plants were humming in harmony, creating music she had never heard before. Then she saw it. A figure was walking toward her through the crystal field. It looked like a person, but it was made of the same glowing light as the crystals. As it came closer, Maya could see it had the shape of a tall human, but its body was clear and filled with moving patterns of energy. Maya's heart pounded. This was first contact with an alien life form. Everything she had trained for as a scientist led to this moment. But she was also terrified. The being stopped about 10 feet away from her. When it spoke, Maya did not hear words with her ears. Instead, thoughts and feelings appeared in her mind, like memories that were not her own. "Do not fear," the presence said inside her head. "I mean no harm to you, human Maya. You know my name?" Maya asked out loud, her voice shaking. "I have watched you since your sky vessel fell. I have learned your patterns, your sounds, your essence. You may call me Lux." Maya stared at the beautiful, impossible creature before her. "What are you? Are you from this planet?" Images flooded Maya's mind. She saw the planet as it had been millions of years ago, full of energy beings like Lux. They had no solid bodies, but lived as pure consciousness moving through the crystal networks that covered the world. "My people have existed here since before your star was born," Lux explained, "but we are dying. Our core energy grows weak. Soon, none of us will remain." Maya felt sadness wash over her, but she knew it was not her own emotion. She was feeling Lux's grief for his dying race. "I'm sorry," Maya said. "Is there anything that can help you?" "Perhaps," Lux said, and his glowing form seemed to brighten. "Your kind possesses something we have never encountered. You adapt, you change. You find ways to survive in any environment." Over the following weeks, Lux visited Maya every evening. He taught her how to communicate with the planet's crystal network. Maya learned that the crystals were not just rocks, but a living system that connected every part of the planet. Through this network, Maya could sense the health of distant areas. She could feel storms coming days before they arrived. She could even locate the best sources of food and water by following the energy patterns in the crystals. But something else was happening to Maya. She began to change Dot at first. It was small things. She needed less food and water than before. She could see better in the dark. Her cuts and scrapes healed much faster than they should. Then the changes became more obvious. Sometimes, when she touched the crystals, her skin would glow with the same soft light. She could feel the energy of the planet flowing through her body like warm water in her veins. "What's happening to me?" Maya asked Lux one night as they sat together in her cave. "You are becoming something new," Lux said. "Part human, part connected to our world. Your body is learning to draw life from the planet itself." Maya was scared, but also amazed. She was becoming something that had never existed before. A bridge between two completely different forms of life. Then Lux told her the most incredible thing of all. "Maya," he said, his mental voice gentle, "you carry new life within you." Maya touched her stomach in shock. She had not even realized it, but Lux was right. She was pregnant. But this was impossible. She had been alone on the planet, except for Lux, and he was not physical in the way humans were. "How?" she whispered. "Our kinds have joined in a way that has never happened before," Lux explained. "Your human ability to adapt has allowed you to carry a child that is both human and energy being. This child could save both our peoples." Maya sat in stunned silence. She was going to have a baby that was half human and half alien energy creature. The scientist in her was fascinated. The woman in her was terrified. "The child will be able to exist in both forms," Lux continued. "Solid like you, energy like me. She will be the first of a new kind of life." "She?" Maya asked. "Yes, a daughter. She will be beautiful and powerful and full of love for both her parents." Maya spent that night walking through the crystal fields, thinking about everything that had happened. Her body was changing in ways she did not understand. She could feel the baby growing inside her, and somehow she knew Lux was right. This child would be special beyond anything the universe had ever seen. The next morning, Maya started a new section in her journal. She began recording everything about her transformation and pregnancy. If other humans ever found her records, they would need to understand what had happened here. As she wrote, Maya realized she was not afraid anymore. She was excited. She was going to be a mother to a child who might save two entire species. Her daughter would grow up knowing both human love and the ancient wisdom of Lux's people. Maya looked out at the glowing crystal field and smiled. She was no longer just a stranded human trying to survive. She was part of something bigger now. Something beautiful and full of hope for the future. Maya's pregnancy was unlike anything she had read about in medical books. As her baby grew, Maya found herself changing in ways that amazed and sometimes frightened her. She no longer needed to eat the food pills from the crashed ship every day. Instead, she could place her hands on the large crystals and draw energy directly from them. The first time this happened, Maya thought she was imagining things. But after a week of eating less and less while feeling stronger and stronger, she knew it was real. Her skin had developed a faint glow, especially at night. When she looked at herself in the broken mirror she had saved from the ship, her eyes seemed brighter than before. Sometimes she could see thin lines of light moving under her skin like tiny rivers of energy. The baby was growing fast, much faster than a normal human pregnancy. Maya could feel her daughter moving inside her, and sometimes she swore the baby was responding to the planet's crystal network. When the crystals hummed their evening songs, The baby would move in rhythm with the music. Maya's home in the cave system had grown too. With her new connection to the planet, she had learned how to encourage the crystals to grow in specific shapes. She had created walls, shelves, and even a bed made of smooth, warm crystal. The organic formations provided everything she needed, while staying perfectly comfortable. The glass plants had also begun to help her. They would grow fruit when she needed food, and bend their branches to create shelter when storms came. Maya realized that the entire ecosystem was working together to take care of her and her unborn child. One day, a pack of the planet's only dangerous creatures found her cave. They looked like wolves that were made of shadow and red light. Their eyes glowed like burning coals, and their teeth could cut through metal dot in the past. Maya would have been helpless against them. But now, when they attacked, something incredible happened. Light burst from Maya's hands and formed a shield around her. The shadow wolves could not get through the barrier. After circling her for several minutes, they ran away. Maya stared at her hands in amazement. She had just used energy like a weapon to protect herself and her baby. "You are becoming stronger," Lux said that evening when he appeared in her cave. His visits had become more frequent as Maya's pregnancy progressed. "I don't understand what's happening to me," Maya said, placing her hands on her growing belly. "I'm not human anymore, am I?" "You are still human," Lux assured her, "but you are also something more now. You are the bridge between our worlds. Your daughter is helping you adapt so you can survive and raise her safely." Maya had been keeping detailed records of all her changes. She measured her energy levels, documented when she could draw power from the crystals, and noted how her body responded to different situations. The scientist in her wanted to understand everything, but the woman in her was simply grateful. She was going to survive. Her baby was going to survive. On a planet where she should have died within weeks, she had found a way to live and even thrive. The storms on the planet were getting worse as the seasons changed. Winds that could knock down trees howled across the crystal fields. Lightning struck the tallest formations and sent waves of energy through the entire network. But Maya's cave home stayed safe and warm. During one particularly bad storm, Maya discovered another new ability. She could communicate with the planet itself. By placing her hands on the cave walls and concentrating, she could feel the weather patterns across the entire world. She knew where the storms were strongest and where they would move next. This connection also let her find resources she needed. When her water supply ran low, she could sense underground streams. When she needed specific minerals for her health and the baby's development, she could locate crystal formations that contained exactly what she required. Maya began to explore farther from her cave as her abilities grew stronger. She found ruins of ancient structures that Lux's people had built when they first became energy beings. The ruins were beautiful, made of crystal and metal that still hummed with power after millions of years. In one of these ruins, Maya discovered something amazing. It was a library of sorts, but instead of books, it contained crystals that held memories and knowledge. When she touched them, she could see the history of the planet and learn about Lux's civilization. She saw how Lux's people had once been physical beings like humans. They had evolved beyond needing solid bodies, becoming pure energy and consciousness. But in doing so, they had lost the ability to create new life. They had become immortal but sterile. "That is why your pregnancy is so important," Lux explained, as they stood together in the ancient library. "Your child will have the best of both our kinds. She will have the adaptability and creativity of humans, but also the wisdom and energy. Manipulation of my people." Maya learned that the planet itself was alive in a way. The crystal network was like a giant brain, and all the plants and energy beings were connected to it. By becoming part of this network, Maya had gained access To millions of years of accumulated knowledge and experience. As her pregnancy entered its final phase, Maya prepared for the birth. She had created a special room in her cave where the crystals grew in perfect harmony. The light they produced was warm and gentle, perfect for bringing new life into the world. The glass plants had woven themselves into beautiful decorations around the birthing room. Their soft music would provide a peaceful atmosphere for her daughter's arrival. Maya no longer worried about being alone during the birth. She had Lux to help her, and the planet itself seemed ready to welcome the first hybrid child. The crystal network hummed with anticipation, and even the shadow wolves had stopped coming near her territory. She could feel that the birth was close. Her daughter was ready to enter the world and begin the next chapter in the story of two species, learning to become one. Maya stood at the entrance to her cave and looked out at the beautiful alien landscape that had become her home. The two blue suns were setting, painting the crystal field in shades of purple and gold. Soon her daughter would see this view for the first time. "We're ready," Maya whispered to her unborn child. "We're ready to meet you." The planet knew when Maya's labor began. As the first contraction hit her, every crystal formation for miles around started to pulse with synchronized light. The glass plants began singing in harmony, creating a symphony that had never been heard before on this world. Maya had been expecting the birth for days. She could feel her daughter getting ready to enter the world, but she had not expected the entire planet to participate in the process. "Lux!" she called out as another wave of pain washed over her. Lux appeared instantly. His energy formed more solid than Maya had ever seen him. He looked almost completely human now, with defined features and hands that could actually touch things. "I am here, Maya," he said, his mental voice calm and reassuring. "Our daughter is ready to be born." Maya made her way to the birthing room she had prepared. The crystals there were glowing so brightly that the cave was filled with warm, golden light. The pain of labor was strong, but Maya felt supported by the energy flowing through the crystal network. Outside, the storm Maya had sensed building for days finally arrived. But this was not like the other storms she had weathered. This one seemed to be centered directly above her cave. Lightning struck the crystal formations around her home again and again, but instead of being destructive, each strike sent waves of healing energy through the network. "The planet is giving all its power to help our daughter be born safely," Lux explained as he helped Maya through another contraction. Hours passed. The labor was difficult, but Maya had strength she had never possessed as a normal human. The energy flowing through her from the crystal network kept her going when exhaustion should have overwhelmed her. Finally, as the storm reached its peak, Maya felt the moment arrive. With one final push, her daughter entered the world. The baby's first cry was unlike any sound Maya had ever heard. It was musical, like the singing of the glass plants, but with a distinctly human quality. As the sound echoed through the cave, every crystal in the network responded with a burst of joyful light. Maya held her daughter for the first time and gasped in wonder. The baby looked mostly human, but her skin had a subtle luminescence that shifted between pale gold and soft silver. Her eyes were large and dark, but when Maya looked closely, she could see tiny points of light moving in them like distant stars. "She's beautiful," Maya whispered, tears of happiness running down her face. "She is perfect," Lux agreed, his energy form now stable enough that he could gently touch the baby's tiny hand. The moment Lux made contact with his daughter, something extraordinary happened. The baby's skin began to glow brighter, and the light spread outward from her tiny body. The glow traveled through the crystals in the cave, then out into the network that connected the entire planet. Maya watched in amazement as waves of light raced across the crystal field outside. The illumination spread faster and faster, reaching formations that had been dark for centuries. Dead crystal networks came back to life. Dormant energy sources began to pulse with renewed power. "What's happening?" Maya asked. "She is healing the planet," Lux said with wonder in his mental voice. "Her hybrid nature is providing the energy source we needed to survive. She is the key to both our people's futures." Maya looked down at her daughter, who was now sleeping peacefully in her arms. The baby looked so small and innocent, but she had just saved an entire world and species from extinction. "What should we call her?" Maya asked. "Luna," Lux suggested. "Like your Earth's moon, she will light up the darkness and guide us through the night." Maya smiled. "Luna, it's perfect." Over the next few days, Maya discovered just how special her daughter was. Luna grew much faster than a normal human baby. By her third day, she was already holding her head up and looking around with bright, intelligent eyes. But the most amazing thing was how Luna could change between forms. Sometimes she looked completely human, warm and solid in Maya's arms. Other times, especially when Lux was holding her, she would become translucent and filled with moving light, like her father. Luna could communicate with both her parents simultaneously. When Maya spoke to her out loud, the baby would respond with normal baby sounds. But Maya could also feel Luna's thoughts and emotions directly through their connection to the crystal network. The planet continued to heal as Luna grew stronger. Crystal formations that had been dying began to flourish again. The glass plants grew larger and more beautiful. Even the shadow wolves seemed calmer, as if the planet's renewed energy had brought them peace. Maya documented everything in her journal. She recorded Luna's rapid development, her ability to switch between physical and energy forms, and the way her presence was transforming the entire world. She will need to learn about both sides of her heritage, Lux told Maya one evening as they watched Luna sleeping in her crystal cradle. The baby was glowing softly, and tiny points of light danced around her like fireflies. "I want her to know about Earth and humans," Maya said. "But I also want her to understand your people and their wisdom. She will be the bridge between our worlds," Lux said. "Through her, humans and energy beings might learn to coexist and help each other." Maya realized that her daughter represented something completely new in the universe. Luna was not just a hybrid of two species. She was the beginning of a new kind of life that could exist in multiple forms and connect different types of consciousness. As Maya held Luna and felt the baby's contentment through their mental link, she knew that everything she had been through was worth it. The crash, the isolation, the fear, the changes to her own body, all of it had led to this moment. She was no longer just a stranded human trying to survive on an alien world. She was the mother of a being who might change the relationship between species throughout the galaxy. Luna would grow up knowing that different forms of life could not just coexist, but could create something beautiful together. Maya looked out at the crystal field, now blazing with renewed life and energy, and smiled. Luna stirred in her arms and made a soft cooing sound that seemed to harmonize with the planet's eternal song. The future was full of possibilities that Maya could never have imagined when her ship first crashed on this strange world. And it was all just beginning. 2 years had passed since Luna's birth, and the planet had become a completely different world. Where once there had been a dying, desolate landscape, now there was a thriving ecosystem that pulsed with life and energy. Maya's settlement had grown from a simple cave into a beautiful complex that blended human technology with the planet's crystal architecture. The structures seemed to grow organically from the ground, shaped by Maya's will and Luna's natural connection to the planet's network. Luna herself was extraordinary. At 2 years old, she had the intelligence of a much older child and abilities that amazed even Maya. The little girl could walk through walls by shifting into her energy form, then become solid again to play with the toys Maya had made for her. She could communicate equally well with words and telepathic thoughts. Most incredible of all, Luna could help the planet grow and heal just by touching things. When she placed her small hands on a damaged crystal formation, it would repair itself within hours. Plants flourished wherever she walked, and even the weather seemed to respond to her moods. Maya had taught Luna about Earth and human culture through stories and pictures salvaged from the ship's computer. Luna loved hearing about cities, oceans, and the billions of people who lived on Maya's home world. Lux taught their daughter about the energy being's history and philosophy. Luna learned to navigate the crystal network that connected all life on the planet. She could sense the thoughts and feelings of every living thing for thousands of miles around. But Luna was not just a bridge between her parent species. She was creating something entirely new. The child had begun to attract other forms of life to their settlement. Small energy beings that had been hiding in remote parts of the planet started to visit. They were drawn by Luna's unique presence and the healing energy she radiated. Maya also discovered that some of the planet's plants and crystal formations were evolving in response to Luna's influence. They were becoming more intelligent and responsive, creating a network of consciousness that spanned the entire world. On a quiet morning, as Maya was teaching Luna to read from one of the few books that had survived the crash, alarms began sounding from the communication equipment she had finally managed to repair. "Mama, there's a big metal thing in the sky," Luna said, pointing upward with her small finger. Maya's heart nearly stopped. She ran to her instruments and confirmed what Luna had sensed. A ship was approaching the planet. A human ship. Within hours, the UES Discovery landed in the crystal field near Maya's settlement. Captain Lisa Parker emerged with her crew, all of them staring in wonder at the transformed landscape. "Dr. Maya Chun?" Captain Parker called out as Maya approached with Luna in her arms. "Yes, that's me," Maya replied, trying to keep her voice steady. "We received energy readings from this system that we've never seen before," the captain explained. "We came to investigate and found the wreckage of the UES Horizon. We thought everyone had died in the crash." Maya looked down at Luna, who was watching the newcomers with curious eyes. Her daughter's skin was glowing softly, and tiny sparkles of light danced around her hair. "A lot has happened since the crash," Maya said carefully. The rescue team was amazed by everything they saw. The settlement that seemed to grow from the planet itself. The crystal formations that responded to touch with music and light. The glass plants that moved and seemed to watch them, but they were most amazed by Luna. "This is my daughter, Maya," said as she introduced the little girl to the crew. "She's beautiful," said Dr. Amy Roberts, the ship's medical officer. "But Maya, how is this possible? You've been alone here for over 2 years." Maya took a deep breath. She had known this moment would come eventually. That's a very long story. But the short version is that she's half human and half energy being. Her father is one of the native life forms of this planet. The crew members looked at each other in shock. First contact with intelligent alien life was one thing, but successful interbreeding was something no one had ever imagined possible. Over the next several days, Maya showed the crew everything she had learned about the planet. She shared her research on the energy beings, the crystal network, and the ecosystem that had evolved to support multiple forms of life. Luna charmed everyone with her intelligence and abilities. She could answer questions in perfect English, then shift into her energy form to play with the crystal formations. The crew watched in wonder as she helped repair damage to their ship's systems simply by touching the broken components. Dr. Chun. Captain Parker said on their 4th day, "My orders were to rescue any survivors and return them to Earth. But what you've discovered here? This changes everything we know about life in the universe." Maya nodded. She had been dreading this. conversation. I know you have your duty, but I can't leave this planet. Because of the energy being? Dr. Roberts asked. Because of everything, Maya replied. Lux, the planet itself, the research I'm doing, and because Luna belongs here. This is her world. She's not just living on this planet. She's connected to it in ways that would be impossible to maintain if we left. Maya showed them recordings she had made of Luna healing damaged sections of the crystal network. She explained how her daughter's presence was allowing the energy beings to stabilize their population and begin growing again. She's not just my child, Maya said. She's the key to the survival of an entire species, and possibly the beginning of a new form of life that could change how different species interact throughout the galaxy. The crew spent days discussing the situation. They had found something unprecedented, proof that humans could not only survive on alien worlds, but could adapt and evolve in partnership with native life forms. Captain Parker finally made her decision. Dr. Chun, I'm going to recommend that the Space Exploration Council establish a permanent research station here. You'll be our first ambassador to an energy-based species. Maya felt relief wash over her. She would not have to choose between her duty as a human and her love for her new family and home. There's one more thing, Maya said. I want to send a message back to Earth, something that explains what happened here and what we've learned. Maya spent her last day with the rescue crew recording a detailed message for Earth. She explained how humans could survive and thrive by working with alien species instead of trying to dominate them. She showed them Luna as proof that cooperation between species could create something beautiful and beneficial for everyone. We don't have to conquer the galaxy, Maya said in her message. We can join it. We can become part of something bigger than ourselves, while still remaining human. The UES Discovery left with promises to return with supplies and other scientists who wanted to study the planet. Maya stood with Luna and watched the ship disappear into the purple sky. Will we see them again, Mama? Luna asked. Yes, sweetheart. And someday, you might visit Earth and meet other humans. But this will always be your home. Lux appeared beside them, his energy form now as familiar and comforting as any human presence. Our daughter will be known throughout the galaxy, he said. She will be the example that shows all species how to live together in peace. Maya looked out at the crystal field, now blazing with life and possibility. Ships from Earth would come, bringing scientists and diplomats and people who wanted to learn. Luna would grow up to be the bridge between worlds that Maya had always hoped she could be. But for now, Maya was content to be exactly where she was, home on an alien world with her remarkable daughter and the energy being who had become her, partner in creating something completely new. The future was full of hope, and it was just beginning.